Indian Arrival Day in Trinidad and Tobago. Indian Arrival Day is celebrated on the 30th of May. It commemorates the arrival of the first Indian indentured laborers from India to Trinidad. It was in the year 1845 and they arrived on a ship called the Fatal Razak. Now, the Fatal Razak brought not only a new labor force to assist in the economic development of Trinidad, but also a new people with their new culture. So these indentured laborers, they were assigned to work on the sugar, cocoa, and the coconut plantations in Trinidad. Their labor, they provided vital economy to Trinidad and they enriched our already multicultural society. Here's a few pictures showing how the indentured laborers were working on each plantation. So you're probably wondering, so why did Trinidad need indentured laborers to work? Well, I'll tell you. So it went like this. The arrival of the Indians was due to the desperate need for labor. It was getting so hard to support the declining sugar industry during this post-slavery period as many estates were just struggling. But the British West Indian planters had tried several immigration schemes. And they did this in order to find the most suitable labor force, namely one that was cheap and controllable. Because cheap and controllable was very convenient. So the Indian immigration to Trinidad that spanned in the period of 1845 to 1917. And the Indians were transported to the island. The journey was long and living conditions was just deplorable. Oh my gosh, when I tell you, completely unacceptable. But after disembarking at the Nelson Island, the arrivals were fed and rested for a couple of weeks and then they sent them to various estates. So they requested them previously to this. And here's how the Nelson Island looked. In 1994, the arrival day was made an official public holiday. It was called Arrival Day. But in 1995, it was renamed Indian Arrival Day. That was more respectful, I guess. And the Indian Arrival Day is a celebrated event by staging a reenactment of the arrival of the Fatal Razak at various beaches throughout Trinidad and Tobago. Remember I said earlier that the indentured laborers brought their own customs and festivals, so this came with their culture. So the events we love so much in Trinidad and Tobago, the public holidays such as Diwali, Eid al-Fitr, Pagwa and Hosay, have over the years become part of Trinidad and Tobago's culture. So because the Indian indentured laborers came to Trinidad, we now celebrate all of these wonderful events. The Indians gave names to the places from which they came, hence the reason we have a village named Faizabad and Barapur, just to name a few. One ancient practice, which has recently become a Western phenomenon, is Mehendi or henna, which is the ancient art of body tattooing, and mostly brides wear this during their wedding day. Here's an example of henna. And one thing we truly love is some good food. And the Indians, oh gosh! The indentured laborers who came to Trinidad brought with them their own East Indian cuisines, complete with traditional seasonings and ways of cooking. And one of Trinidad's favorite things, the most important of their spices, were their curries. Oh my gosh! We Trini people love a good curry. Over time, foods such as roti, double sahina, kachori, bara, anchar, and palori have become household names. We have some roti and aloo here. We also have sahina. And everybody loves our good doubles for breakfast. We have palori, which could be used as a snack or appetizer. And we have anchar mango. Lastly, we have kachori. But you can't make all of this food without East Indian cooking utensils. Up first, we have the tawa. You can make all sorts of rotis on this. Next, we have the belna, also known as a rolling pin. Ever wondered how we get our bus-up shot roti to bus up? It's a dabla. And last, we have a chula, and we can use this to cook outside. Next up, we have a sil and a lura, and you use this to grind up all sorts of seasonings. Up next, they brought music and dances to Trinidad. The Indians brought their musical instruments with them when they migrated to Trinidad. And these include the tassa and the tabla, dolak, manjira, banzari, sitar, and lastly the harmonium. So here's the tassa, tabla, dolak, manjira, banzari, sitar, harmonium. And who doesn't love their fashion? Did you know that the East Indians introduced new fashions, clothing and jewelry to our country? Here's a dhoti, a sari, and a few examples of their jewelry.